increasingly compelled to see the war as an enemy of the poor and compelled to attack the war. The war was more than devastating and the hopes of the poor at home. It was sending their sons and their brothers and their husbands to fight and die in extraordinary high proportions relative to the rest of the population. We were taking the black young men who had been crippled by our society and sending them 8,000 miles away to guarantee liberties in Southeast Asia, which they had not found in Southwest Georgia and East Harlem. We have repeatedly faced with cruel irony watching Negro and white boys on the TV screen as they kill and die for a nation unable to seat them together in these same schools. And so we watch them in brutal solidarity burning the huts of a poor village, but we realized that they would hardly live on the same block in Chicago. I could not be silent. In the face of such cruel manipulation of the poor, my third reason moves to an even deeper level of awareness. It grows out of my experience in the ghettos of the North. I have walked among these desperate, rejected, and angry men. I have told them that Molotov cocktails and rifles would not solve their problems. I have tried to offer them my deepest compassion while maintaining my conviction that social change comes most meaningfully through nonviolent action. But they ask, and rightly so, what about Vietnam? They ask, if our own nation wasn't using massive doses of violence to solve its problems and bring about the changes it wanted, their question hit home. And I knew that I could never again raise my voice against the violence of the oppressed in the ghettos without having first spoken clearly to the greatest purveyor of violence in the world today, my own government. The greatest purveyor of violence in the world today, my own government. The greatest purveyor of violence in the world today, my own government. For the sake of those boys, for the sake of this government, for the sake of the hundreds of thousands trembling under our violence, I cannot be silent. If America's soul becomes totally poisoned, part of the autopsy we must read Vietnam. Those of us who are determined that America will be are led down the path of protest and dissent, working for the health of our land. My ministry is in obedience to the one who loved his enemies so fully that he died for them. What then can I say to the Viet Cong, or to Castro, or to Mao, as faithful minister of this one? Can I threaten them with death, or must I not share with them my life? This I believe to be the privilege and the burden of all of us, who deem ourselves bound by allegiances and loyalties which are broader and deeper than nationalism, and which go beyond our nation's self-defined goals and positions. We are called to speak for the weak, for the voiceless, for the victims of our nation, for those he calls enemy, for those he calls enemy, for those he calls enemy. No document can take these humans any less than our brothers. We have destroyed their two most cherished institutions.
The family and the village.
The family and the village.
We have destroyed their land and their crops.
We have destroyed their land and their crops.
We have cooperated in crushing the United Buddhist Church.
We have cooperated in crushing the United Buddhist Church.
Now there's little left to build on.
Now there's little left to build on.
Save bitterness.
Save bitterness.
Soon the only physical human foundations remaining
Soon the only physical foundations remaining
are our military bases.
are